Christmas dinner, my 9-year-old son got a plate of cold leftovers while everyone else ate hot food. They said he should be grateful. He whispered, "Dad, do the thing you promised. My son Eli is from my first marriage. His mother passed when he was 3. I raised him alone for 4 years before I met Vanessa. She had 2 daughters, Haley, who was 11, and Zoe, who was 8. We got married when Eli was 7. I thought I was giving him a family. Instead, I gave him a front row seat to what it looks like when people pretend to love you. Vanessa was fine with Eli in the beginning. Polite, not warm, but I told myself warmth would come. It didn't. What came instead was a slow and constant separation between her kids and mine. Haley and Zoe got new clothes for school. Eli got hand-me-downs from a bin in the garage. Haley got a birthday party at a trampoline park. Zoe got one at an ice cream shop. Eli got a cake from the grocery store and a card that Vanessa signed without writing a message inside. I brought these things up every time. Vanessa always had an answer. The girls have been through a lot with the divorce. They need extra attention right now. That was her line for 2 straight years. Extra attention. Like Eli hadn't lost his mother. Like his grief was smaller because he couldn't remember most of it. My parents were no better. They loved the idea of a complete family. They adored Vanessa because she was charming and organized and always brought dessert to Sunday dinners. They called Haley and Zoe their granddaughters within the first month. Eli had been their grandson since birth and somehow still got less. At Thanksgiving that year, my mother gave Haley and Zoe matching necklaces with their initials. She gave Eli a coloring book. He was 9. He didn't say anything. He just put it on his lap and stared at it. That night in the car, he asked me why Grandma liked the girls more. I told him she didn't. He looked out the window and said okay in a voice that told me he didn't believe a word of it. I made him a promise that night. I told him if it happened again, at Christmas, I would handle it. Not later. Not after the holiday. Right there. He looked at me and said, "Really?" I said, "Really." Christmas came. We drove to my parents' house. The table was set for 14 people. My parents, my brother and his wife, Vanessa, the girls, Eli, me, and a few cousins. When we sat down, every plate had hot food. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, rolls, green beans. Every plate except one. Eli's plate had cold leftover turkey from the fridge, a scoop of plain rice, and no gravy, no roll, no vegetables. Just a sad cold plate pushed to the edge of the table like an afterthought. I looked at my mother. She didn't look back. Vanessa didn't even notice. Haley was already eating. Zoe was pouring gravy on her potatoes. I leaned over to my mom. "Why does Eli have a different plate?" She waved her hand. "There wasn't enough of the fresh batch for everyone. He's a kid. He doesn't care. He should be grateful he's eating it all." My brother's wife looked uncomfortable but said nothing. My dad was cutting his turkey like he hadn't heard a thing. Eli looked up at me. His eyes were steady, quiet. Then he whispered, "Dad, do the thing you promised." I put my napkin down and stood up. "Eli, come here." He got out of his chair and came to me. I took his plate and set it in the middle of the table. "Everyone see this? This is what my son was given while every other child at this table has a full hot meal. This is not a mistake. This is a choice." My mother started sputtering. "There wasn't enough turkey. I had to make do. There's a full pan of turkey on the counter right now. I can see it from here." She went red. "He's a picky eater. I didn't think he'd want all of it. He eats everything. You've never once asked him what he likes." Vanessa put her fork down. "Can we not do this right now? Right now is exactly when we're doing this. Because this has been happening for 2 years, and right now is the first time my son asked me to keep my word." I looked at my mother. "You gave Haley and Zoe necklaces at Thanksgiving. You gave Eli a coloring book. He's 9, not 4. You knew what you were doing. Those girls have been through a divorce. They needed extra love. Eli lost his mother. He was 3. Where was his extra love?" Nobody answered. My father cleared his throat and said, "Let's just eat." "No, we're not just eating. I'm done watching my son sit at tables where he's treated like a guest in his own family." I picked up Eli's coat from the chair. I helped him put it on. Vanessa stood up. "You're embarrassing me. I'm protecting my son. Over cold turkey? You're ruining Christmas over a plate of food?" It was never about the plate. I took Eli's hand and we walked to the front door. My mother followed us to the hallway. "If you leave, don't bother coming back." I looked at her. "You served a 9-year-old cold leftovers at Christmas and told him to be grateful. I won't be back." Eli and I drove to a diner that was open on Christmas. He ordered pancakes. Halfway through, he looked at me and said, "You did the thing." I said, "I did the thing. I filed for divorce in January. They haven't asked about Eli once."